The other day, one of my viewers asked me a good question, and I realized that I have never addressed this topic in the form of a video. While I have covered this question on the About page of my website, I realize that most people have not read that little diatribe, so maybe it is time I created a video talking about the origin of my channel's name, Living Off the Slab. To me, the name, of course, makes sense in that the slab is motorcycle slang for the interstate highway system. This euphemism goes back to the days when the interstates were literally poured from the drum of a concrete truck. But of course, in most areas of the country, this is no longer true. I have, however, noticed that many northern cities are going back to using concrete, I assume for durability reasons. Concrete, being less porous than tarmac, may in fact be more durable, but it also takes longer to disperse water. Because of this, concrete roads may often include drainage grooves, which depending upon your tires can make motorcycle travel a bit of a wobbly experience. But I digress. Let's get back to the topic at hand. Why did I name my channel Living Off the Slab? When I was thinking about a name back in 2011, I liked the moniker Alton Brown, the host of the food channel's Good Eats series, had chosen for his 2006 four-part series on road food he called Feasting on Asphalt. In this series, Alton and a few of his mates jumped on their motorcycles and hit the road in search of unintended good eats. If you have not had the chance to view this program, it is well worth trying to track down. But unfortunately, the videos are no longer available on the Food Channel or on Amazon Prime. Now, obviously, I could not steal the name Feasting on Asphalt, so I started playing around with various derivations and eventually settled on Living Off the Slab. I like this name because it could read as living off the slab, as in getting off the highways and onto the back roads of America, or it could be read as living off the slab, as in deriving sustenance from. For me, this fits exceptionally well with the dichotomous nature of motorcycle adventures, and that they are most often a combination of the two. Sometimes you are on the highway, and sometimes you are on the back roads. In today's modern world, so much of our lives rely on the interstate highway system. Anyone who spends any time traveling between states can attest to the amount of truck traffic, as just about everything from Amazon packages to food are transported from centralized distribution centers to small towns across the country. The major highways are truly the life-giving circulatory system of our nation. Riding from coast to coast, you can easily find food, lodging, fuel, and support within a few miles of just about any off-ramp. And to make it even more convenient, the interstates allow us to cover vast distances in a relatively short period of time. But all of this convenience comes with a price. Sometimes riding the interstates can be soulless. For example, while running the interstates, it is true you can find plenty of places to eat, but most often it will be corporate food that does not change from place to place. You can cover hundreds of miles and a fast food hamburger will taste the same in Boston as it does in LA. Sure, it will fill your belly, but often it will be lifeless and insipid. Riding the interstate is a trade-off, the benefits being speed and convenience, but you may have to give up quality and individuality. To really find what America is all about, you need to get off the interstates, away from the corporate establishments, and into the back roads and byways that crisscross the landscape between larger population centers. On the secondary roads, you will find the mom-and-pop diners, quaint motels, lighter traffic, and helpful people of the smaller communities. Although I have to admit that things are changing quickly. Even in the less populated areas, the local hardware stores and restaurants are being replaced with franchise opportunities. I get it. Even small towns in the middle of nowhere need jobs, and very often it is the Dollar Generals and Burger Kings that can better provide that much-needed employment. In fact, on a recent road trip to visit my family in Texas, we decided to travel the back roads through states like Pennsylvania, Virginia, and Arkansas. It became a joke that in every small to medium-sized town there was another Dollar General, which of course we had to call out to each other as we passed by. Every town may not have a McDonald's, but it did have a Dollar General. Even in 2023, we motorcyclists like to think of ourselves as modern-day cowboys who travel from place to place on simple machines. But the truth is that we straddle the line between modern technology and old-school self-reliance. Our bikes now have fuel injection, inertial management units, ABS brakes, and traction control. Yet compared to a car, they are still relatively simple conveyances that expose our physical frailties as well as our mental toughness, or lack thereof. But this is the way of our modern world. We long for simpler times when things were more cut and dried, while clinging to our cell phones and big screen TVs. Creating a meaningful life is about finding the balance that works for you, and that is what it means to live off the slab. Living off the slab means finding your own way, taking the road less traveled, and allowing others to do the same. To quote one of my favorite of the modern-day poets, the late John Prine, "There's a big old goofy man dancing with a big old goofy girl. Ooh, baby, it's a big old goofy world." Rather than spending our time pissed off at everything you don't like, embrace the goofiness and focus on the things you love and enjoy. For me, that is what it means to live off the slab. Ride safe, my friend.